very, very close.
He's always around.
Pretty much as close as he can get without being a tournament winner.
Yeah, exactly.
So looking to break out of that and actually take a victory. And I think Sheepy would be really pleased to be able to take a season title.
Absolutely. All right, so we get to see the emotions on both of these players during this match. Keep a close eye on both players because they are both emotional players.
Yes.
We get to see the reactions on their face. So it looks like for Banned Out, of course, the Daria deck from FATINA and the Dragon deck from SHEEPY.
All right. Mulligan's coming in. We've seen so much mid-shadow over the course of these last 2 days.
So much mid-shadow.
Lots of forest, too.
Again, I've got to beg the question, as always, the best question in the world, why?
But why?
But why?
But why?
Why mid-shadow? Yes, it might feel safe. I don't see it.
That's what all my math teachers always ask me.
Yeah, why? But why?
Yeah.
Why they
Show
ask you
your
that?
work.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I got asked that a lot, too, in math class, and I was like, yeah, but why? I know the answer. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Oh, Fatina's got a whole jug of water ready for him right now. I like it.
A whole jug of water.
Whole jug.
You know, that's actually like something that I should do. I drink so much water. The amount of time I waste walking back and forth from the fountain.
Just bring it with you, yeah.
Should just have the hugest jug.
And here we go, talking about some awkward draws from an aggro forest deck. Already a White Wolf in hand, not really a great curve for FATINA. He does have the Wood of Brambles against a Shadowcraft deck, which is what where you want to be. We'll see if he can complement that with his further draws here. On the side of Sheepy, Sheepy's got a fine curve. Unfortunately, Lurching Corpse is not at its best against aggressive decks because it cannot trade into opposing followers. You've got to draw other cards to get use out of them.
Something we have to think about is Fairy Driver was very not outstanding. I feel like yesterday. I wonder if we can see more value out of it. I don't even think there's one case where the Fairy Driver was able to have a fairy take effect.
Yeah, I think one time, but it was in the point of the game where it didn't matter anymore. The game was pretty much over. And Sheepy doing the Sheepy thing. So both players known for things. Sheepy, on the other hand, known for just sitting there, doing the Sheepy effect. What do we want to call that? We've got to come up with a name for that.
The Sheepy effect?
Yeah, the Sheepy effect. Because when he does it, other people in the tournament start doing it too. So it might just be the best, the Sheepy effect.
Yeah, I think you're right about that one. The Sheepy effect. I want to see him at DreamHack. And again, just my envisioning of Sheepy is the sloth from
So keep in mind, guys, we love Sheepy. Sheepy's a great player. Definitely deserves to be here. All of that good stuff. The real thing is, like, I just want to have some fun with it. Like, I almost want to have a timer on his first turn of the game when he has a 1-drop in his hand, how long it takes him. Like, in total, how long has it taken Sheepy to play his 1-drop on turn 1 over the course of Shadowverse history? And we need a timer for it. Because I think we're in, like, the 15-hour plus range at this point. And I just want to have a real tracker for it.
He's just methodical.
Oh, come on!
And he's a very successful, consistent player. So.
Absolutely. I can't fault him for anything he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just very interesting.
Yeah. Continue to think. And especially when it comes to important tournament games, Sheepy just continues to think. That's the most important time. Is he going to eat the goblin? The goblin is the one that's hungry. But the demon eater is more hungry, I suppose.
What a relief.
Yeah, freaking pun. What a relief. Magical Fairy Lilac is interesting. I don't know if it has as much potency in the Shadowcraft matchup as opposed to something else. In fact, I guess it's specifically like a Daria type tech, but if you're banning Daria a bunch, then why?
It's true. I mean, it just there are a lot of decisions though, honestly. Like you can't account for everything that your opponent's going to be doing.
Yeah.
So sometimes the things won't make sense.
Yeah. I really actually like this card a lot, especially when it first was released. And even now, I just feel like the Clash effect is so strong before anything happens. And a 1/4 stat line, I think, is actually quite wonderful. Lilac. Still a great choice, but it kind of hurts when there's just a goblin on the table and you can...
Yeah, Lilac's always a hit or miss. Sometimes it's the most amazing card in your deck, and sometimes it's just like, okay, well, it did something. I mean, honestly, the fact that it's a 1/4 and it can still take out a goblin is still fine. You know what I mean? It still has use. Plus, it's a harder follower to deal with, that 4 defense line, of course.
Yeah.
So when you build it into an aggressive deck that uses Wood of Brambles, you can get a lot of value over time with it. So it's not bad really ever.
Oh, come on!
Okay. Just gonna let it rock.
It's funny too, like lightning fast match, lightning fast match, lightning fast match. All right, everybody. You know, this is a time where you can take your breath.
You know how
take it all in.
You know how there's hammer time, there's double time,
Sheepy
there's
time.
sheepy time.
Sheepy time. I like it. I like it a
This
lot.
is oh.
Interesting.
Okay.
Getting that lurching corpse out of here. So this is the reason. So actually yesterday, what's interesting to think about with the White Wolf inclusion in this aggro forest deck, it's like at a certain point, Forestcraft just runs out of gas when it's playing the aggressive variant. It's just like, okay, it can't do anything anymore.
Yeah.
White Wolf does give it that new added flavor at the end.
Yeah.
To where it can do something. But this draw has been so awkward.
Yeah. Really, the question for Fatina is, can you last until the turn that White Wolf becomes relevant? And also, how are you getting your face damage? You have no fairy tokens, got 2 fairy drivers, and no card draw. One of the things that we saw yesterday with the aggro forest list that was brought was there was Fitas that would gain the card draw off of any kind of Cybele play or, Elf Song or whatever it may have been.
Well, that's the thing with Forestcraft. They don't really give it a lot of card draw. A lot of cards are actually rotated out with this last expansion. And what they do now instead of card draw is fairy production. But most of these aggro Forestcraft decks aren't even playing all of the fairy production cards that they can. Again, I have to bring to mind Fire Sprite Grove and things like that, just where you can fill your hand. And you have, especially with Wood of Brambles against Shadowcraft, if you know everybody's playing it, Fire Sprite Grove just does so much work.
Yeah.
And we just don't see it in any of these lists. It does what you'd expect from Fairy Circle, giving you 2 fairies in hand. It does the extra ping damage. It gives you something to bounce with Airbound Barrage. It's good stuff.
Wood of Brambles.
Buzzing,
No bounce for it. And now the fairy driver just comes down. This is the classic.
Basically playing mid-range Forestcraft without mid-range cards against mid-range Shadowcraft.
No.
I think this is actually like worst case scenario draw for Fatina. He drew 2 fairy drivers and a White Wolf without any complementary cards really. And his Leaf Man's are his only other card. It's very awkward for him at the moment.
It's not a relief.
Not a relief.
I wish Fairy Driver would give fairies unevolve.
Yeah, that could be something. Like give a fairy. I don't think multiple fairies would be fair. Because then it's just Noah, but it costs 4.
I'm so aware of all the puns right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it definitely gets into this territory where it's like, great, you got Fairy Driver, but it's not an efficient way to generate tokens. And as much as you can, you used to be able to do things like Fairy Circle and Whisper, and you would have a whole bunch of generators in that sense.
You still can. You still can. I think players are just kind of looking the opposite way when it comes to playing these cards, which really boggles me. Boggles my mind here. It's like you're playing Fairy Driver, and sometimes in triplicate, you're playing all 3 of them, but you're not playing all the fairy generation you can, and then you run into this situation more often than not, and we see it time and time again where you just don't have fairies. You need to be generating those fairies, and if they're not playing the fairy generation, maybe they're not even playing enough bounce to get their Wood of Brambles back time and time again, you know what I mean? And they just let them go.
Moment of silence for the goblin.
Yep.
Lasted about 5 turns.
Did his job.
And in the end, so this is the true reality of humanity. In the end, the goblin was destroyed by his own team.
That's what happens, man. Like, you've been around for too long. It's probably infighting. Goblins probably infight a lot, to be fair. Kind of hot-tempered,
He worked this job for 5 years. And they just sacked him.
That's right. Rain getting some value here. Very good tech card. I like including like a copy of that in your deck. It's just very nice on turns.
It makes
where
some
it's good.
very good trades.
Yeah, and worst case scenario, it's a 2 play point follower. It's fine.
Everything's okay.
Yeah.
All right, on the hand of Sheepy at 6 play points, doesn't have the enhanced zombie party quite yet, has the Andrialphus and can actually gain a lot of card draw off of that, plus the Demon Eater. If he just wanted to surge forward in terms of options in hand, that is a path he could take. It can take down the Leaf Man, but nothing much else.
Yeah, can go with the Prince Catacomb as well if he wants to go that route. And I think the safest possible play against this aggressive deck that hasn't been able to do any damage to you yet is probably do something like Andrialphus into Demon Eater into Zombie Party.
Here goes. Step 1. Step 2. Swing into the Whisper.
What do you have?
Go with the Prince instead. Definitely not a bad option. So set up card draw.
Get Demon Eater off of any of the Skellies.
The real question is, Sheepy knows the deck list, but will he play around the White Wolf? I mean, he's got to expect it by now, right? There's nothing else that could have just been stuck in his hand for this long.
Yeah. I think you kind of have to. Okay, generating more tokens.
Yep, getting a bunch of fairies in hand to set up for this fairy driver. I like
also
this.
kind of buff up for the White Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
So again, Shadowcraft without healing or ward means that the follower swinging in is actually huge, because then Storm becomes all the more effective.
I'm also going to throw this out there. If Shadowcraft loses this game against a horrific draw from an aggro/White Wolf Forestcraft deck, stop playing this deck, people. This is like my PSA. If Shadowcraft loses this game, just stop it. Just stop it. Can't even beat hodgepodge decks, you know. And I'm not saying this deck's bad, but the draw he had was not very good. Then what is it doing? Talk about safe and reliable. How is that reliable by any means?
So Zombie Party is an option here, but you leave 2 1/1s on the board if you do that. Odile, but it's not the exact perfect scenario.
No, Odile next turn with the Zombie Party would probably be a little bit better. He does have the option to play the Akhtar this turn.
It'll dump his shadows. He has an orb with Illyrial.
Yeah, so pretty much can do anything in his hand that he wants to. Just really depends on how he wants to execute the next couple turns. I'm always a fan of Akhtar because you get so much value out of it. You've got the perfect amount of shadows right now. You still have turns to build up for Aisha. You still haven't dealt the first 7 points of damage you need to get Fatina down to 10. So it's not a big issue. Looks like Sheepy agrees.
There it is. The minds are aligned. I would assume. Oh!
I like this play. Solidifies the board. You give up nothing.
Interesting.
Oh, never mind.
Get the value. Keeping the high health. It's interesting. You saw Lilac, but there's no evolution orb, so you know that it can't just be run over. So I like keeping the bigger follower here. What really can take that down? I think the fairies get +1, right? So even if you drop triple fairies, it's... Okay, well, forgot about that one.
Yep, White Wolf is still an option.
I guess it wouldn't have mattered. The Ector would have been vulnerable to it no matter what.
Fatina's doing the math here on how much damage he can take. Looks like he's going with a value trade.
Interesting. Yeah, because it wasn't going to get rid of the Ector. Now Odile basically guaranteed destroys that, but that adds 2 more damage to face, which means that you do 10 this turn.
I don't think if you're Sheepy in any world, you destroy that White Wolf right now.
Well, you know the list. There's no double elephant thing that can happen, right?
Not next turn.
And if you do that, you put your opponent down to 4. I guess Forestcraft is leading in play points, so you could get double elephant to turn 10.
I think at least you don't give it to them immediately. Just because it filters their draw, it gives them more options for removal. Looks like Sheepy doesn't care. He's like, he can't beat me. He's going along your path, whereas you cannot kill me next turn, so I'm not too worried about it.
And he's threatening lethal here. That's Insect Lord?
That is Insect Lord.
Okay, so 4 leaves you with 5. So you can have Fairy Driver plus a bunch of fairies and the Insect Lord.
Yep, White Wolf can also be played to bounce everything.
Buzzing, flitting insects.
I mean, I'm sorry, not White Wolf, but King Elephant.
The King Elephant, yeah.
Useful.
Hey, let's play.
Make yourself useful.
So maybe you play the Insect Lord first just to see what happens.
Wait, is this lethal?
Oh my god, wait, it could be actually. I didn't even think about that possibility. I don't think so.
I think it's lethal. 2, 4, 6. Elephant bounces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, he filled his board up,
6.
so he can't do it. Well, let's have counted it. So if he didn't play the Insect Lord, he attacked for 6, put him to 9. Then he would have
not
King
quite.
Elephant, and then he'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards in hand. So that'd be a
7 damage
7, 7.
elephant.
So almost lethal.
Almost lethal.
2 damage away.
He nearly got him.
Yeah.
With the hoo-ah.
With the hoo-ah.
Oh, man.
All right, this is what we talked about. Fatina's decks and Fatina himself being his biggest enemies here. I think his deck did not show up the way he wanted it to that game.
Yeah. Incredible how close that was. We talked about how valuable it is if any of the followers. It's very much like Roach, right? In a Roach deck, any follower damage you get before the Roach combo happens, incredibly valuable. It turns a game into a turn 6 win, a turn 7 win, as opposed to a turn 8, 9, 10 win.
Right. And Fatina just not able to get anything going at the start of that game, getting a lot of awkward cards. And now he's going to switch over to his Portalcraft deck. Let's see if this can work for him.
I bring unto you serenity.
Doing the hard mull for the Deus Ex Machina. Not grabbing it just yet. And this is a deck where I feel like you will see Fatina hard mull for that Deus Ex every single time. He is playing the hard combo version of this deck, wants to get that card.
Yeah. Let's keep that math in our head. Fairy Driver, Fairy, 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 Elephant is 6 plus whatever you have in hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 4 cards bounce back. Because that is a high reach combo, potentially.
Yeah, it was close. Like, he literally just needed 2 more cards in his hand to win that game. So maybe that is his actual endgame plan. It's like, this is my kind of Roach combo. I get to play my Fairy Driver, play everything out, then King Elephant, and mixing White Wolf, and yeah.
The King Wolf.
Yeah, that's right. King Wolf.
King Wolf
bounce
of
everything
Elephant.
and just deal a bunch of damage all in one turn. It's really nice.
Okay.
Now we get to see the much slower version of the Forest Craft deck in Sheepy's hand here. Again, not a draw that you'd like to see early game against a deck that can put out pressure.
No meta production. No Deus Ex. You have a Magisteel and a Mech Wing.
Yeah, I believe you always play the Magisteel first, so that way you can start tutoring out your card draw.
Artifacts do clog, but if you have artifacts that draw, it's not as bad.
Not as bad, right? Putting together the analyzing artifacts and the mystic artifacts first into your deck and pulling them out to draw your cards before you draw Deus Ex, and then once you have Deus Ex, then you start transitioning into your ancient artifacts and radiant artifacts and things like that to start taking over the game.
Sheepy is up 1-0 now, and continuing down this path of great, deep consideration.
That's right. There's an empty board, and he has the option to play the Insect Lord, but will he?
I think the answer is nah.
Yeah, probably not.
Nah.
As a matter of fact, Sheepy doesn't have a single play for a while in his current hand.
Yeah, that's a little bit scary.
Yep. Using this time to contemplate, you know, the big grief in the world.
He probably knows all the answers. We should just ask him.
He probably should. He ponders a lot.
Yeah. What are you thinking about?
All right, Fatina putting the curve down. Okay. I'd probably get that Rain into play. Try to do something against this board. He can hold it for next turn to get some value out of Insect Lord.
Yeah,
might be the only way
that's a
to get
choice.
value.
That might be the choice. He's behind on evolution orbs. He's going first. When you're going first and you don't have tempo,
yeah,
it never feels good.
Never feels good. And not only does he not have tempo, he's not really ever going to have tempo. Maybe a Cassiopeia turn can pull it back for a turn, but
Bunch of slots.
Okay. Just goes ahead and offers it up.
Yep, and I believe Fatina will happily take that offering in the form of just ignoring it.
Oh.
I like it, going for the tempo play here.
Yep.
Does decide to trade, though. Interesting. So
Okay.
Fatina plays this as, like, the hard late-game control Portalcraft deck. He's not looking for early tempo. He's not looking for early damage. Just looking to trade out.
Which might hurt him against White Wolf Force, especially a
Yeah.
White Wolf Force that has this chunky of a hand. The way to think about this is, yeah, your hand is slow in the early game, but if nothing happens in the early game, then you just have a bunch of late game options in
Right.
your hand, right? So
Right.
the game gets worse for you as it goes on.
That's right. And Portalcraft is one of those decks that can just tempo people. I mean, it has 2 drops, 3 drops, 4 drops. It can just literally lean in with its followers.
I mean, a 1 point 3/1 is quite a lot of stats.
The one play in almost 90% of scenarios that I never understand, competitive or on the ladder or whatever it be, if you're ahead with followers in play and you elect to trade with your opponent when they're behind you in tempo, what are you expecting to gain out of that in the long term? In my mind, it never makes sense because your opponent's almost always forced to trade with you anyway, and you just lost that 2 damage or that 3 damage or whatever it is over the course of time that could add up to more and more depending on what your board state looks like. But some players just preferring to be super safe.
Gets a good hit on the Insect Lord. But Deus Ex shows up and everything is going as Fatina would plan.
Yes.
And any kind of difference in removal in his deck is pretty irrelevant by this point. If Deus Ex comes down, he's going to have basically his entire deck unlocked.
Right. Artifacts turn into your removal. You don't really need
Yep.
removal spells at that point. Absolutely.
So everything's looking fine and peachy on the land of Fatina. Meanwhile, Sheepy just has to continue to rely on, hey, is there a world where I can actually pull a White Wolf off? The mixture of artifact being not necessarily the strongest followers, you've got a bunch of artifacts that are 3 damage and lower, right? Means that it can be quite difficult to throw your White Wolf away. And because they're 3 damage and lower, it's very easy to get the White Wolf to a point where you can substitute it.
Absolutely correct.
Or you just Otherworldly Rift and call it good.
I think this turn for Sheepy, he's considering whether he wants to put a ward into play or get the Venus active. I think the Venus being active is a little bit more important because he has the Insect Lord in hand. Allows him to do a little bit more next turn.
For love.
Looks like he agrees.
You're done for.
Yep.
Love and
Basically, at this point, Sheepy is just playing the hard control plan, and Fatina is kind of doing a similar thing. So it's really just going to be who has a better endgame, and I believe that Sheepy has a better endgame, but he doesn't have most of it in his hand right now. He doesn't have what he needs.
The Harvest Festival will help him get there.
Ooh, an Acceleratium drawn for Fatina as well. And Resonance will be active next turn if nothing else happens, but he's got to make sure that that does not get impeded.
Yeah, so wants to avoid things like meta production. Well, I think you should probably meta production, and then
The Analyzing
defend
Artifact
against the-
will
yeah.
probably die, yeah.
yeah, mitigate against the Analyzing Artifact. You can also do that through Machine Soldier.
But if Machine Soldier pulls an Analyzing Artifact, then you're kind of in a weird situation again. Do you play it or not?
ready to blast him,
Interesting. Just flooding instead. So Fatina might be saying he doesn't care if he Deus Exes next turn, which is completely fine. He still has control of the board. And that way he can basically develop all the rest of the cards in his hand and have a better idea. Once this Analyzing Artifact is off the table, he can kind of play around with his Resonance a little bit easier.
Yeah. Yeah. Depending on what happens here, might still be able to get a card shuffle.
And again,
Well, I
because
don't think you're too worried about that right now.
yeah, not worried. And just to let you guys know again, if you're new watching in, Resonance is an effect that is only active when you have an even number of cards left in your deck. And the way Portalcraft works is a lot of its cards gain benefit. And of course, Deus Ex being the biggest contender for that, and the fact that when you have Resonance active after she's in play or after her effect has been added to your leader, that you gain 1 play point back when you play an artifact, and at the end of your turn when you have Resonance, you discard your hand, draw 6 new cards. It's a great engine.
Fatina giving Sheepy the words of wisdom there. I wonder if Fatina is happy with the situation that's come of this scenario, right? Because this is definitely one of those choices where I feel like Fatina might beat himself up about, where he might look back and be like, I should have taken the other path.
Portalcraft's always like that. Portalcraft, I feel like, is the hardest deck in the game to play right now because of just all of the decisions you have to make with the deck. There are decisions not just in what you play on every single turn, but it's what you played on every single turn leading up to that. Do you keep your hand after you're in resonance, after you start the Deus Ex machine going? You know what I mean? Like, what do you do every turn? It's a choice you have to make. The ordering of every play that you have to make. You know what I mean? It's all subject to what you want to do.
Things are going well. Deus Ex is down. Did not shuffle the Acceleratum, so on the next turn you can Acceleratum, Radiant, Fervent, do more stuff. Meta production to make sure you shuffle. There's just so many options. The Harvest Festival can't come down now. You have enough to actually draw off of it.
There's actually a really good hand here with just a lot of things to do. You can play the Harvest Festival to draw cards this turn. You've got the Insect Lord to finish off the follower. You got the Airbound Barrage to help. Sylvan Justice if you want to use it. Any number of different ways to take care of this.
You should play Venus and the second Harvest Festival.
I kind of like that. If there was a second Venus.
I think there. Oh, that's a jungle.
Jungle
Warden.
Warden, yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
that was a Venus.
I would totally start drawing 2 cards every single turn. That is awesome.
It's insane.
Clogs
We'll
up your
never not have
board,
cards.
but with Airbound Barrages, you're not too worried about that.
Yeah.
The gears of fate still turn.
Okay. 3 cards played fulfills the conditions.
Hey, let's play.
Adds the 4th one for good measure.
Just in case. I don't really know why the option to play the fairy there. Playing
Yeah.
the fairy there is it's basically just gonna get run over by whatever followers Fatina plays.
Be careful of playing the Radiant Artifact. Okay, he's not going to do it. Let's see what Resonance rolls into. It's very important to have some kind of manage here.
Alright, looks like he is gonna roll it, get rid of his first Saphira. Remember, he's only got 2.
Yeah.
Relax. I'm a specialist.
Uh-oh.
Sheepy was very happy about something, giving the old thumbs
He
up.
has a 4 damage. He can throw the White Wolf in now.
That's true.
I thought Fatino avoided it, but
Maybe that was a thumbs up. He's like, yes, he gave me a 4/4. So he's doing the math right now. Sheepy's got his pen and paper out. He's writing
Yeah.
down what the next 2 turns are going to look like.
you know that Saphira can't happen.
Yep.
There's very little scenario where Radiance can reach far enough to take down 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a totally safe play. You take the hit from the 2 followers on board. There's no evolution orb standing. It's almost a moot point. Your next turn, you can play Aaron. Like, almost nothing Fatina does can actually change this, right? You can play Aaron, evolve, and trade over the Deus Ex. Heal back up a bit, gain the ward. Everything is all good.
And he
then-
has the evolution orb left.
Yeah, double elephant will close it out. And you are on the play, so you're first before the Saphira. Oh no. I think this might be it.
Yeah, he's got the defensive options here. He's got Airbound Barrage if he wants to do any extra removal this turn. He doesn't really need the evolution orb back, so he could play things before
Yeah.
the Aaron.
I think if you Aaron and then Airbound Barrage the Harvest Festival, you have the most defensive option.
And now with the way he's playing it, can use that evolution orb to take out the Deus Ex as well.
Yep.
I like this, but will he have enough cards in his hands? If he Airbound Barrages, he'll have 6, go up to 7. That's not really enough. That's not 20 damage.
6, go up to 7. Jungle Warden Elephant is... Okay, 6, go up to 7. Jungle Warden does 8. You go back 1 plus 7, 8 plus 2. So you do 18 damage with that. If you double Elephant,
It's less damage.
yeah, double Elephant would be less.
He was excited, but he doesn't have enough cards. That's the thing. Like, he's got a low card, and this all goes back to the fact that he played that fairy out.
Yeah.
The gears of fate still turn.
The engine's busted!
Is the engine busted? Is that what happened?
Oh man, the engine's busted.
Okay. Well, in hand, it doesn't matter how you remove this. I don't think there's a lot of storm to actually handle this. But if you set yourself up, assuming that you won't just lose on turn 10, he could pull himself into a winning position here.
Yeah, there's no ward to be played here, so it's just going to be filling up the board as best he can. Play out one of these Ironforge fighters to put the Radiance in.
Ow!
And then just hope for the best, really.
Oh, come on!
No Saphira.
No Saphira, not a lot of artifacts either.
You could just throw in 2 animals. So you have 2 chances to draw it, 3 chances to draw it. 1 off your turn. And okay. So let's think about this. There's no way to play something and then also play a double elephant. You don't have the Loki.
Mm-hmm.
You can do the Jungle Warden to try to survive. You can.
I mean, honestly, a Jungle
with
Warden.
Elephant and then Jungle Warden.
I think you just Jungle Warden this turn, and then you have the double elephant for the following turns, and that will secure a win. But you have to make sure that you're not going to die on this crack. And there's no guarantees.
I kind of feel like you have to play the Jungle Warden and the 0-cost Elephant just to minimize the amount of trading back the board can do. Okay, yeah, so he leads with the Elephant. This is probably going to go into the 4-3, I would assume.
This ends here!
I think he's just going to go all face.
Cry out! Roar!
You think so?
Yeah.
Fool!
Oh, man. Okay, so now you have to chew through 12
Ooh!
health. Yeah, I mean, you have 2 analyzing that you can throw into it, right? Your Deus Ex keeps you at 10, so you're fine.
But he doesn't have the rush anymore with the Acceleratium. It just went away.
He has to draw. He has to draw.
So
Okay,
close.
hold on. Okay, if you're only getting back 1 play point, you can't Saphir on this turn. Wards don't matter.
Yeah, wards don't matter. I'm trying to think.
For-
If he had the Acceleratium, it could have been possible to chain. He doesn't have it anymore. And he doesn't have Rush to get the artifacts out of play.
Yeah, Spinaria doesn't help. Yeah, that loss of the Acceleratium is actually huge.
Massive. It turns this game into winnable if he has it. I don't think it's possible.
I don't think so, yeah. You can't get rid of both the 7 defense and the 3 defense.
Integrity central.
So he's just going to have to draw, see what he gets.
I heed your
Yep,
power.
and that's
Oh,
it. He
no.
knows it's over.
Sheepy will take the 2. Oh!
Dabbing it!
I haven't seen that in a while. It's
Sheepy
been a
dab.
while since we've had cameras, you know? Sheepy gave the old dab, and Fatina drops down to the loser's bracket. That has to be a tough one for Fatina.
A lot of 2-0s going on the first half of this bracket today. Very interesting. A lot of just understanding what's going on. You know, Fatina's deck, I feel like his Portalcraft deck drew just fine, again, but it's a lot of decisions you have to make with it.